so let's have a look at decision alignment. Decision alignment comes from when a leader firmly understands where they're going, the direction they're heading, what they stand for, and what is making them tick. I recommend that if you haven't already, you use something called a leadership philosophy to articulate this to your team or to your organisation. And a leadership philosophy is basically a document, or you can put it out on a web page or other multimedia, however you're using to put it out. But it is a message by a leader that explains to their organisation how they operate, their expectations, and varying other guidelines that you feel necessary for empowering your team. Now, the whole point is that a leader needs to understand where they're going, and they need to have a clear understanding of the vision they have for their organisation. Now, a vision is a dynamic image of what you want the organisation to do, to be, and to achieve. It should be quite holistic in its understanding of where you want the actual organisation to go forward to, and it should be very attainable. However, that said, it should be challenging as well. Now, some people might not actually understand the concept of a vision, so let me digress and use an example. Imagine you're a coffee shop owner and you've just set up in a local town, and there's quite a bit of competition, but you're determined. You've got a niche, and you've got a difference, a point of difference, or a unique selling point, and you want to become the best provider of food and beverages and customer service of any hospitality business within the town. That's your vision. Now, within that vision, you've got a whole series of different aspects to it. You've got the actual food and beverage itself. You've got customer interaction. You've got infrastructure of the whole store. And let's just break that down a little bit more. You'll have goals within each of those. Possibly you want your menu. You have a goal that each month your menu will change and be bringing in more things. Possibly you want with your customer service, you want your shop front to be the most efficient shop front on the street, so that people don't have to wait for their orders as much as possibly others. And with infrastructure, your vision can provide you guidance with that as well, because if looking at who your clients are, possibly they might be mothers with children coming in quite regularly. So you go, well, I have a goal that in 2 months' time, I will have set up a kids gym in the back so that mothers can bring and the kids can play, and mothers can just sit there and talk. Or you might find that your clientele is far more business savvy, business orientated, and they bring their laptops there to actually work or to actually do business meetings, etc. So you might have a little alcove set up with a printer and a fax, and you might have free internet Wi-Fi or something else like that. All that has been guided by your vision of becoming the provider of choice for beverage, for food, and for customer service. So that's a good example of just how a vision can provide direction for everything else falling into your actual business. Now, as leaders, we need to remember we're not just leaders within the business. We are individuals first and foremost, and leadership is one of the roles we play in, say, for our career. So let's take a step up this time. Let's elevate ourselves and realise we actually need an individual vision. And many people fall down in this area. Many people don't take what they do in their business and put it to their overall life, and realise that a vision not only provides direction for business, but it also provides us life direction. Now, in that, what we'll find is that there's going to be not just one direction. That direction won't just be made up of one thing. It'll be made up of a whole series of things, from our career, our family, and our personal life being 3 pillars of that direction. Now, notice I've actually separated personal from family, because we've got to understand that we are individuals, and we're going to have personal needs that need to be satisfied outside our family and outside our career. An example that I use is that I myself want to continue my personal growth. So I'll have a series of personal goals that are outside my family that will enable me to achieve that level of personal growth that I want per year or per term of time. Now, obviously, you'll have family goals and then career goals, family pillar and then career pillar as well, which all unite towards your life direction. Now, if these aren't aligned, or if these are competing in a unbalanced way, then what you're going to find is one aspect of your life, as I previously mentioned, is not going as well as you want it to. So we want these to be all lined up, travelling in the one direction to achieve the vision that we're trying to achieve. Now let's take it one step further and actually have a look at what breaks down these actual these pillars. Now these pillars will have a whole series of goals that you want to achieve that are aligned with the direction you want to go to achieving that vision. Now underlying that direction, remember, is what you stand for, your purpose, your values and your wants. Now these goals must be in line and must be obtaining a step towards the achievement of that vision in line with the direction you're going. If they're not, what often happens is that we find ourselves separating from the direction we're going. We find ourselves in that position where we go, this project is really not working and it's not helping me. You might be, for instance, a company that is all about environmental sustainability, and yet you've chosen for some reason to get involved in a project which is not in line with that. Or you might have seen an opportunity for fame and fortune because you thought that could, for good career or professional advancement, and you've taken that line, those series of goals to obtain it, and you find yourself now not where you want to be, not in line with who you really are, not achieving what you really want to do in line with that vision. The other thing is, life is the biggest learner, isn't it? It's the biggest educator, I should say. And it provides us a whole series of lessons to learn. These come in form of hurdles or challenges. Now, when we are in the face of a challenge, be that in the professional arena or be that in our personal life, and we can do one of two things. We can make a hard decision, or what looks to be a hard decision, and that might actually appear that it's going to cause us a lot of trouble, a lot of angst. But what it does is actually aligns with who we really are. And remember, a lot of the perception of that trouble can actually be false perception. Because once you actually make that decision in line with who you are, my guess is if you've made one of those decisions before, you know how liberating it actually is when you get out and do it. And you don't necessarily care what other people think, which is really key for a leader, as we've talked about. Leadership is not a popularity contest. Leadership is about making the right decision for the achievement of the outcome that you want, your desired outcome. So if you're making in challenging circumstances, if you're making decisions based out of fear, then you're going to make constricting decisions which will take you further and further away from what you truly want. So releasing that fear and getting to the heart of what you stand for means that you can make decisions which are in line with your direction. And when you've taken a path that is by choice, an opportunity or challenge, and you find yourself out there in that position which is uncomfortable, that gap between where you really want to be and where you are now is what I call decision misalignment, made by a series of choices which have resulted in you getting further and further away from your direction. So, what do? I hear you say. You need to get back to basics. You need to understand what you really stand for. And by doing that, it may mean some serious shifts within your life, or it might simply mean that you let go of a project or two which are not in line with what your real vision is. Those projects might be personal or professional. But coming back to who you really are, understanding what you stand for, your values, your purpose and your wants, and aligning in that direction to achieve your vision is the way to go.